Good morning. Pastor Greg here, Faith Lutheran Church, Harvey, North Dakota. I'm here to check in with you on this Wednesday, the 10th of August, right? Yes, New Year's 2022. It's a beautiful day here in Harvey. I think we're around 60 degrees this morning, low dew point, high of 80 or so. So relatively nice summer day here in North Dakota. You can see the trees in the background are quite calm, so it's not too windy, which whenever the wind isn't blowing in North Dakota is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So we always, of course, like a little breeze to keep the skeeters away, but that's not too bad. So anyway, yeah, welcome. Thank you for joining me this day. I'm hoping that you're finding your day a blessing with uh, God's grace in your midst, and we're just glad that you're spending a few minutes here this morning, this afternoon, this evening, or whenever you come across this video 10 years later and you wonder who's that guy. Anyway, that's kind of the lead in here. Church is kind of running on again, still on summer mode. It's kind of quieter on the building for the most part. Not any big projects going on or anything like that. Worship at 10:30. We have another baptism on Sunday. Turner Tipton will be baptized, uh, given given to the Lord, claimed by the Spirit through the water and the Word. Always excited to do those kind of things, and so we're grateful that we have that ability here to baptize when need be. Anyway, so we're looking forward to that. That's really about all that is in purview. Although I will remind you that the fall is starting, school is beginning here in a couple of weeks. We have uh, Faith Builders is gathering. That's for those of you who don't know what Faith Builders is, it's our educational wing, our educational part of our church, and so we will be meeting, I believe, this evening to discuss the fall processes and to gather together and make sure we're all on the same page as far as moving forward with education in the fall. I think you can, well, I'll wait till we have some more definitive times, start dates, and plans like that. So that's kind of what we're leaning towards. So that's um, what's kind of going on in the church. A men's group will meet tomorrow morning. If you see this today, join me at 7 here at the church. Light breakfast, maybe a Bible discussion on First John. Maybe not. We've been talking about other things, sanctity of life, and what that means, and how it reacts to, or how we should react to it in this world. So, not enough time to go into that here on this short video. So, do join us if you so desire. All right, that's kind of what I'm going to say about that, and we'll go ahead and move on to the devotion today. You know, I have an honest. I have to come clean, so to speak. I had prepared, or well, I shouldn't prepared. I had worked through the texts yesterday morning a little more in depth and realized I had looked through the texts for the next week. And so I had to go back and look through the texts for this week a little closer. So it was kind of a funny realization when I looked at the bulletins to check it and thought, these aren't the right readings. Oh no, those are the right readings. I picked the wrong readings 1 week off. So we're going to take a look at Hebrews today. Hebrews 11:29 through 12:2, which is the readings for the day. And I'm really only going to be looking mostly at 12:1 and 2. It was interesting, and it always is interesting, the writer of Hebrews. Of course, we don't know who for sure that is. A lot of people think it's Paul. I'm not really sure. At times it sounds a lot like Paul. At times it sounds a lot like someone else. But definitely the writer of Hebrews is very learned of Old Testament and the history of of Israel. So it's important for that to be thought of as you look through Hebrews. It's a very deep, very rich text, and the first part of this whole text is just the writer reminding about all the faith that happened and all the people who were used. And, he lists Barak, Samson, Jephthah, and David and Samuel and the prophets, and he lists all these people who had promises and was giving the word and but they didn't live a great life. So, but I want to really kind of focus on for you today on this idea of this first two verses, and I'm going to go ahead and read both verses to get started. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, that's all the people that he mentions prior to this, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run the endurance race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. What caught me today, or as I was working through this, is this verse, the end of verse 1, where it says, "And let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." And I wonder if you really think about your living in this world as an endurance race that's set before you. And if you are, and if you do think of it as that, endurance, what's at the end of the line? What is at the end of the race? And so I kind of thought back to my high school days when I was a sprinter. And I was a pretty good sprinter. I'm not going to brag. I wasn't fast, but I had plenty of blue ribbons, and I could run a 100-yard dash fairly quickly in the 220. Not much anything longer than that. I didn't have the endurance for that. But that's not what I'm going to focus on today. I'm going to focus on this idea of the race and the ending. And I thought to myself, who's holding the tape and the string across the line in the race that you're racing? Who are the timers, the people who keep track of time in a race? And who are the spotters? Sometimes in short races, I think the shortest one I ever ran was a 40-yard dash, and everybody comes across the line almost at the same time, and so the timers really are just timing, and they all come up with the same basic time. They're within 100th of a second of each other, but they have spotters to spot who comes across first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, so forth. So who are your spotters? Who are your timers? And who's holding the tape? And I hope, if you think of it that way, that's Jesus at the end of that line, and that's your focus in this endurance race that you're on, however long the race is. Again, I used to think a 220-yard dash was an endurance race, but people ran the mile. So I thought they were silly. Besides the point. Anyway, so here we are in this race of this world, of all the stuff that happens around us that we're trying to figure out, that we're trying to live our lives amongst all the sinful wretchedness that's out in this world. And we're all part of that. But who's holding the tape of your race? Who's doing the timing? Who's doing the spotting? And if we think of that as Jesus, then it doesn't matter. If your focus is there at the end of the race, the endurance race with Jesus, then he's your timer, he's your spotter, and he's holding the tape. And anyone who arrives. And it doesn't matter when you arrive, doesn't matter how fast you were, doesn't even matter if the tape is taken. because everybody who crosses the finish line with Jesus there will receive the gifts that he's offered. And so again, it doesn't matter how fast, how slow, what place you got. That's all irrelevant. What's relevant is Jesus at the end of the race that you're running in this world. Yeah. So what I'm going to say about that. I just some initial thoughts on it. Not sure where I'm going to go. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. So prayers this week, of course, with school starting up as always. Pray for teachers, students, workers, all those people involved in that process. Be with and pray for leadership here at the church as they begin to amass names and stuff for those who are leaving. So I know they're in search of a few people to join them as leaders of the congregation. It's not a lot of hard work. I mean, it's you certainly can put as much effort into it as you want to, but prayerfully think about if it's something that you would want to do, and or if it's something that you know of someone who would do a good job. Pick one person and pray for them today. So, well, grace, peace, and blessings to you on this beautiful day here in Harvey, North Dakota. And as you go about your way in this world on that race, do take care.